So it's crazy to think that the Chicago Bears still somehow have a playoff chance. They even owning a top 10 pick. And I got my guy one bar on from the Minnesota Vikings to go through this Bears versus Vikings preview. Fields versus Dobbs, key inactives, 3 keys to the game, and score predictions for you guys. But I got to introduce my dude, One Bar. One Bar, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I'm excited to be here. And you know what I love about you is the fact that you're still like, they got a chance. They still have a chance to be in the playoffs, and you sound just like a lot of Vikings fans did when we started off very, very bad this season. So it's great to be here.
Well, and your turnaround happened after the Chicago Bears game because then you guys went on a 4-game winning streak?
Yeah, without Justin Fields, it was wonderful. It was crazy, and nobody was believing what we were seeing, and it was a wonderful thing. And now confidence is very, very high when you just look back a handful of weeks, and we're all basically looking, all right, who's the top 5 pick we're going to end up with?
Well, now you guys are in a different place, even though you just had that tough loss against the Broncos, but you did have a tougher situation with Kirk Cousins going out for the season, bringing in Dobbs, and Dobbs doing a pretty darn good job for you guys. I mean, the Denver game obviously wasn't ideal, but a guy coming in, not knowing the playbook and leading you to a couple wins out of the gate. I mean, tell us a little bit about what the Bears should expect, or the Bears should expect from a player like Josh Dobbs in the current Minnesota offense.
Well, here's the thing with Dobbs is I mean, whatever team this is his 5th team, whatever team he's been on, clearly before the Minnesota Vikings, he wasn't really doing anything overly fantastic. But I think it's fair to say that this is probably the best team he's been on. And it's fun to watch. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know Josh Dobbs inside or no. Vikings fans are getting their first glimpses at him as far as what he can do on the field. So we still don't really know what to expect from Dobbs. What we do know is the man has beautiful pocket presence. He can move around in the field. The big thing is we're used to Kirk Cousins. I love me some Kirk Cousins. I'm a Kirk Cousins guy. He doesn't move in the pocket. So when we see Josh Dobbs out there dancing around, making plays with his legs, not only making plays with his legs, but making plays to get out and still pass the ball, it's just something we're not used to. It's something that we haven't seen in a while. And yes, he's definitely exceeded expectations. Nobody expected Dobbs to do what he's doing. He came back to life last week against the Broncos. Wasn't a horrible game, but it wasn't his best game. It was definitely his worst game as a Viking. So he can make plays with his legs, make plays with his arm. The only thing with Dobbs is like my expectations for him are just to be good. Anything better than good is a win. So there's some people out there thinking like, oh man, we got to sign this guy for the season, blah, 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 blah. But we're still learning about Dobbs.
And, kind of similar situation over in Chicago, someone good with an arm and good with their legs, and Justin Fields, who came off his first game back from his dislocated thumb that he suffered against the Minnesota Vikings. And he put up almost the miracle win against the Detroit Lions. I know you were pounding the table for it when we were on the NFC North roundtable. Make sure you can go into the description, guys, and follow that channel to see One Bar and I every Wednesday night, along with a representative from the Lions and the Packers. But Fields came in over 100 yards rushing, almost over 200 something odd yards passing, had a pretty good game against a tough Lions defense. And I kind of feel the same way. A lot of people in the Bears are in the situation where, do you go out and draft a quarterback with the number 1 overall pick from Carolina? Do you keep Justin Fields? Kind of that situation. But beautiful player on the field, athletic, gets the ball upfield and makes it work. So it sounds like the Bears and the Vikings both have a similar type quarterback, and it could be fun to watch on both sides of the ball. Minnesota's defense is doing a great job, exceeding my expectations I had for them at the beginning of the season. But the Bears' rush defense is number 1 in the NFL at the moment. So, why don't, just to kind of understand what the Bears should know as a defense, what are we expecting in that Minnesota offense? Where are their strengths and where are their weaknesses entering week 12?
Well, I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about Justin Jefferson, but clearly, he's still out. He's questionable. I don't expect him to play, so that is obviously a big strength that won't be there. But as far as the offensive side of the ball, our offensive line is very underrated. It's pretty damn good. We got 2 really good tackles. Even Ed Ingram, who last year at this point I would have rather him be begging groceries somewhere. He's having a bounce back year. Garrett Bradbury. So our offensive line is solid, which I didn't expect it to be this good. The big thing, TJ Hawkinson TJ Hawkinson, as far as this game, he should be the focal point. He should be the main point. They need to get him the ball. Does he have his drops every once in a while? Absolutely. But that trade we made with Detroit is panning out wonderfully, and he needs to make some plays. And Jordan Addison, of course. Addison, the first time we played you guys, I don't think he really did jack. I mean, maybe had 40 yards, a couple catches, but he's going to be a big part of this. He cannot have a quiet game.
And, kind of, what you're saying too is Justin Jefferson is a factor that if he does play, we'll get into that in a little bit, key inactives and questionable players that are to play. I do think Minnesota does have a very respectful offensive line, and the Bears offensive line has gotten a lot better the last couple of weeks here too. Darnell Wright has been shocking the world. At least from a right tackle's perspective. He is the best rookie right tackle in football right now. He is also top 15 according to right tackles, according to PFF. And Braxton Jones, after coming from his neck injury, did a great job against Detroit last week. The Bears had their first week of almost their entire starting offensive line all season. It took till week 11 to get there. So a big factor for Chicago coming in, especially going against that Minnesota defense. I kind of feel the same way. Speaking of key inactives, let's kind of go over to that subject, One Bar. And before we do that, guys, please make sure to hit the like button on this video and put your thoughts in the comment section below, and go to the description to make sure you follow One Bar. But, kind of going into key inactives right here, the Bears announced on Sunday afternoon that Tyrique Stevenson is out versus the Minnesota Vikings due to an ankle injury that he sustained on Friday. Kind of was a shock, wasn't a comfortable one. On top of that, Larry Borum and Deontay Foreman, the Bears' best rusher over the last 8 weeks, is also out. One Bar, let's go. Let's just get into it. Justin Jefferson, is he playing or is he not playing? And where's your confidence level on that for tomorrow?
I don't think he's playing. I think it's about a 1% chance he actually plays. If we didn't have a bye week coming up, maybe they put him out there, but there's no reason to rush him back. And it's not just so much that, it's the Bears, we should beat the Bears, which I think we will beat the Bears. Spoiler alert. It's just like, there's no, like, even if he's 95%, wait till he's 100%. I mean, he's a special dude. If we had another loss under our belt, if it was a little bit closer, sure, rush him back maybe. At this point, I don't think there's any reason. Everything Kevin O'Connell is saying is pretty much saying he's not going to play without saying he's not going to play. That's the biggest factor in it.
Man, that sure sounds like Matt Eberflus when he was trying to tell us that Justin Fields wasn't playing, but then he did say he was playing. The NFC North is notoriously known for being terrible in press conferences, and I think that needs to probably change for every single team. But
I'm offended that you're comparing Eberflus to Kevin O'Connell. I'm really.
And we got to start the beef somewhere in here. We've been a little too nice to each other. So what other key inactives? So the Bears do have 3 key inactives. I wouldn't say Larry Borum is a complete key inactive, but he is a depth player that has come in and played for the Bears a lot this year so far. But besides Jefferson, who are the other big names that Chicago needs to be looking out for that's going to impact this game for Minnesota?
Caleb Evans is the only one that was limited. He's questionable. He's our starting corner. But to be honest, Mekhi Blackman has been getting a lot more playing time anyways. Even last week against the Broncos, he had a pretty good game. He had a little very suspect play in the end zone, that's for sure. But I don't think there's much of a drop-off there. Caleb Evans has been a nice surprise, our former 4th rounder. But I don't know if he'll play. To be honest, I don't think it matters if he plays. If I had to choose, put him active. But we're, other than Jefferson and then the obvious ones on the IR, like the Jordan Hicks cousins, all those guys, we're pretty healthy. I mean, we got Kyrie's Tonga, defensive lineman. You guys are familiar with Mr. Tonga.
Yes.
Who's actually very lovable guy. Everybody loves that guy, the big guy in the middle, but he hasn't been playing that much. So that's really it.
You can't hate Tonga. I mean, I personally miss him. I love Nothing is cooler to me than or more intimidating when you see a guy with a sleeve and then the long hair coming out of the back of the helmet and he's 330 plus pounds. So,
he's a fan favorite wherever he goes. And he actually was playing damn good last year. It's just, he just hasn't been in the mix much. He's been a healthy scratch at times. But it sucks. But like I said, everybody loves him.
I hate healthy. By the way, speaking of healthy scratches, Deontay Foreman's first game back in the NFL, or not in the NFL, but for the Bears was after 3 healthy scratches in the Minnesota game last time that he played. I don't get when teams do healthy scratches on good players. There are guys lower on the depth chart that definitely don't deserve the playing time. And Deontay Foreman, that was one for me. But it's not, I looked at Tonga's stats and I wish we had him back. Do I think he would stay on this team with how we're rebuilding? I don't think so. Maybe as a rotation player, but I have never, ever understood that. But, One Bar, let's go into, we're kind of getting close to time here. Let's go into your 3 keys of the game. The Vikings in and out. What works for them. But also from a Bear, you've seen the Bears. We play you guys twice a year, and you and I talk about them a lot. What are 3 keys to the game for Minnesota in order to have success against the Chicago Bears?
The easy one is containing Fields. That's just a simple one, and containing him on the ground. The Vikings been okay against running quarterbacks this year. I think we're averaging almost 5 yards a carry for a running back. So that's going to be the biggest thing. If Justin Fields starts getting things going with his legs, that's going to be an issue. I think Brian Flores, our defensive coordinator, who's made this defense we're hot, man. We're hot. You say you got your offensive line coming back. I don't even care. I don't think that matters. Danielle Hunter is going to get his. I hope I'm expecting 2 sacks from Mr. Hunter. But Brian Flores is going to have to do his thing, but he's been doing it all year. It's going to be, like I said, a mix of Metellus, Ivan Pace, our undrafted free agent, is going to be manning the middle of the field, which is a little bit scary. But that's going to be the biggest thing, is how he deals on defense. Is he going to bring the house? Because everything I see, Fields is pretty good against the blitz, right?
Yep.
Is that accurate? So we've been blitzing the crap out of every team. Last week, we didn't do it as much against Russell Wilson. I'm going to be very curious to see what he does this week. That's going to be the biggest part. Jordan Addison, like I said, he needs to get involved. They got to get him involved. With Dobbs, what he hasn't done, he hasn't stretched the field. We haven't thrown it deep really much at all. Even if he's not catching the thing, stretch the field, make some room for TJ Hawkinson. But Addison's got to get involved. He's going to need 60-plus yards and hopefully a score. And then I already said it, but TJ Hawkinson, we gotta feed that man. He's a beast. And I'm gonna throw in one more. Ivan Pace with Jordan Hicks out. Opposing teams don't realize how good of a season Jordan Hicks was having. That was a dagger. That's one of the toughest injuries we've had all year. And now he's out for at least 4 games. And Ivan Pace, big shoes to fill. And confidence level, he's a good story. He's outplayed being an undrafted free agent. He's played fantastic, but that's going to be a big deal, how the Bears attack the middle of our defense.
And great points to bring up, because, that goes, we all know Eberflus watches this show because he doesn't really watch anything else. He needs to take the advice of that's where the strengths are. That's why he's going to get
fired, because he watches us.
Yeah, well, hey, thanks for the view, Eberflus. I really appreciate it. But I got 3 things for the Vikings that the Bears, what they need to do against Minnesota in order to succeed. And the number one thing is Justin Fields has to do exactly what he did against the Detroit Lions. He has to. Well, yes.
You're right. That's going to be the dagger. If that happens, that is not going to be good news for Minnesota Vikings.
Well, because the good balance opens up the field on both ends, opens up our running game a ton. Even though we're missing Deontay Foreman, Justin Fields has to have that balanced game. And that falls on Luke Getsy, who should have been fired after week 4. But anyway, I definitely want Chicago to come out with a good plan for Justin Fields in order to have a balanced game for him. The other big factor is going to be Luke Getsy. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be getting the ball to DJ Moore and Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney's been targeted less than 3 times in 10 of Chicago's games this season. And DJ Moore, when targeted more than 9 times, the Bears are undefeated. They are 3-0 this year. So the Bears need to get the ball to their wide receivers. So that's number 2. And number 3 is going to fall on the defense, is they have to find a way to get pressure on Dobbs. I know Dobbs can use his feet. He's a good pocket passer. But if Chicago can somehow use TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds, and then that scary defensive line, which I think Montez Sweat's going to have 2 sacks against you guys, because they've only been playing him half the snaps. He's going to, I think that there's going to be a good opportunity for Montez Sweat to get after the quarterback. And I like what the Bears can do against this Vikings team. I think it's going to be a fun game. It was 19-13 last time we played you guys.
It's gross.
Something like that. Gross score.
Gross game. I'm sure we'll do our score predictions here, but I hope it's more entertaining than that last thing, because that last thing was gross.
Well, let's put that prediction out there in the world before we get to prediction, guys. Again, please make sure to hit the like button on that video and put your thoughts in the comments. But one bar, what is your score prediction for Bears Vikings on Monday Night Football?
I think even though I said that score was gross, I think the score is actually going to be pretty close to the last game's score. I think it's probably going to be a little bit more of an entertaining game. The Vikings keep you guys under 20. We're going to win. I think in Vikings fashion, it's going to be close. There's no doubt about it, win or lose. But I think the Vikings do end up winning. I got it like 22-16. I don't know. What was the last one? 19, whatever. It's just 22-16. It's going to be a one score game. And it's going to be somewhere around there. I don't see any offensive explosions by any means. I see a good defensive game, and Josh Dobbs will get his, and Vikings walk away with the Dubsky.
Oh, well, I'm gonna get you down to back to earth because the Bears are coming on Monday Night Football. They've been pretty good in prime time this year so far. Just saying, you can't deny it. The Commanders game and the Carolina game's a win.
Look at the teams you're playing on prime time.
Hey, a win. You said it to me on the roundtable. A win's a win, right?
That Panthers game though. I stared at the floor for a half an hour, even with the game on. I just watched the floor instead. I was watching it with former Bears quarterback Eric Kramer at Harry Carey's in Chicago, and he was like, "What is this? Are we trying to lose, or we're just trying to barely win?" But I have to agree with you. I think it's going to be a more entertaining game this time around. I think that these teams are more, Fields being back. Bears are actually healthy. Dobbs has got a flow going with this team. Justin Jefferson, I don't think is playing either. If he does, it does become a more interesting game. And even if he does play, I think it'll be limited reps. But I got the Bears, because you know me, I got the Bears winning this game 24-21. On a Cairo Santos field goal in the final seconds at US Bank Stadium. That better not happen.
That's my prediction.
There's nothing worse than a primetime late game that ends that close, because then I just sit there up at night. I can't sleep. I'm pissing and moaning because I'm so damn upset. So it better not be close like that. And we sure the hell better not lose like that, because that will be horrifying.
Wait, what was the bet that you said on Roundtable, that if the Vikings lose by 30, if
Vikings lose by 30, I'm going to be on the next roundtable butt-ass naked, and we're going to lose a ton of subscribers because of that. But a deal's a deal, so it's going to happen. I mean, I'm not worried about it, but that is the bet.
Suddenly, we're all going to get, emails sent to us like, you guys weren't actually supposed to do that.
I don't care. They can kick me off. A deal's a deal. Deal is a deal. Hey, when we're done with you guys, we're going to be 2-0 against you without Justin Jefferson. Josh Dobbs is even going to get this win.
Ooh. I don't like that. I think it's going to be a good game, but the Bears are going after it, and they're winning this game. And also, I think Fields is throwing over 300 against you guys.
Oh,
just to really throw that dagger out there.
Hitman ain't going to allow that. Daniil Hunter sure the hell ain't going to let that happen. He is going to be up in his grill. You say 2 sacks for Montez Sweat. Hunter is going to get 2, at least 2.
Well, hey,
I'm not worried.
We want to make it entertaining.
We do. And here's the scary part. Like I said, like with the Broncos game, I wasn't worried. Wasn't worried at all, even during the game, even when I wasn't worried at all. Then we lose. I'm not worried about this, which usually is a sign that something bad is about to happen. But you know what? I'm going to go with my gut on this one, thinking the Vikings got this. We're the better team. We're going to walk away with the win. We got to.
All right. Well, One Bar, where can everyone find you in order to shoot you a sub and follow you to see when you're, bitching and moaning after this Bears game?
Well, hey, you know what? We do a live post game after the show. So win or lose, make sure to hop over there. At least give us some crap. One Bar and Leppagus, daily Viking show. We're on multiple times a day, a lot of lives. And like Nick, like you said, NFC North roundtable as well, which is becoming a very, very good time.
And I will definitely see you there Wednesday night. And Vil is not filling in for me with win or lose. I know everyone's like, oh, are we seeing Vil if you lose? No, you're seeing me no matter what, baby. Even though Vil, who's also, make sure you hit him a subscribe in the description. I'm excited for this Wednesday. And I know TD is too. So, it's going to be fun. But One Bar, thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me on. This was a blast.
Absolutely. And thank you for tuning in to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde, and as always, bear down.